Hi, it's Jeff with the Bennington Elkhorn Valley Railroad here. I was just going to spend a couple minutes here to show one of my favorite cheapo DCC decoders, and that's the XL Systems. I guess this is backwards, isn't it? This is the XL Systems decoder. Um, they're created by a guy that used to be an engineer responsible for doing the decoders for MRC. Quite frankly, they're not the greatest decoders, but they're really inexpensive. They're very affordable. Nearly half the price of a higher-end, lock sound Tsunami decoder, and that's why I like them. Is I can actually equip a lot of locomotives with these, and I have all of my KATO locomotives. I've been sticking these in here. He doesn't support every locomotive out there, but he supports a lot of popular ones. I put them in my ST70s, and I've got an SD40-2 here, and that's what I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. And of course, when it comes shipped, this is a DCC unit, or I should say DC unit. One of the things you want to do is you want to reuse these little clips here. So you just pull those off of either side. Pull off those little clips that basically allow you to send power to the motors, and then you got to pull out the original TC board in here. It's just involves kind of sliding it back. A couple little notches in the front there in this particular SD40. The SD70s pretty much look the same, but basically slide it back. Obviously, anyone who's worked with KATO locomotives has seen this before, so that's the DC unit there. One of the things they want you to do then, I imagine that's probably the case in about any DCC job, is to use some kind of tape to non-conductive tape to actually prevent the thing from shorting. They typically wrap all the metal parts on the top that the DCC unit comes in contact with. So I'm going to do that. This particular stuff I got, I think on Amazon, MyJor, Captain tape, basically. So one brand to consider. Just cut a little too long, and then I trim off the excess. Obviously, you don't want it to come in contact with the motors there. Anyway, I'll come back here as soon as I finish this. I don't bore you with doing all these. Be right back. So here we are. I've actually added Captain tape, as you see, all across the points where the decoder actually makes contact with the chassis there. So now we'll unpackage the DCC decoder here. And here's what that looks like. Speaker on the bottom. So in this particular instance, it inserts in such a way that the speaker goes down. This is probably one of the more challenging parts here because the one experience I have had with these is the little slot that exists right in here that the board needs to slide into. It's a really tight fit. So I just kind of get it started about where it should be there, and being very careful. I actually use a pair of needle nose pliers. There is actually a non-electrical point on the board where I can actually very carefully push on either side to get it going, because by hand it's very difficult to push that in there. So very gently, using a pair of needle nose pliers. And then in the back, there's a couple more contacts here that have to slide in. This is, I feel like at some point maybe he went with a bigger speaker because it doesn't quite set flat. So you do have to put a little bit of pressure down on this to get it far enough down that it'll slide inside that little notch there. So again, I'll push carefully with my needle nose pliers. We're going to apply some pressure to the back to make sure that, like I said, apply some pressure to the back to make sure that back contact goes in. Doesn't go in real far, but it goes in far enough. Okay, so if you look really carefully, you can see in the back side that that contact point is just slightly underneath there. And then on this, on the front side, it's, you know, quite a bit more in. But again, I just carefully use needle nose pliers from here to here, and just very carefully apply pressure to get it in, and it gets in there. Okay. Now those two metal contacts that we pulled off of the old unit, they literally just slide in this point right here. So I'm just going to try to show this. So I'm just going to apply it right here, and push in. So there they are, inserted. And of course on the bottom side, if you know these KATO locomotives, they're kind of small, these little contact points for the motors. And in fact, they don't generally, I think by the time you, of course I want to test them before I put the body on, but there's generally not a lot of pressure there. So sometimes what I'll do is apply a little Kapton tape to actually push down on this so it's making contact with the contacts on the locomotive itself. So that's one on. Here's the second one on the opposite side. This one's going to complain a little more. I'd actually have to bend down the clips here. Grab my magnifying glasses. Come down a little bit. There we go. Right there. You see it's underneath there, hard to see, but it's making contact with the motor on that side too. push this one underneath over a little bit to get it centered. So there they are. I don't know if you can see from this angle, but they're making contact there. We'll actually find out if they're really making contact by sticking them on the track here. I actually literally just did another unit, which is still programmed as locomotive 3, so I'm going to pull him off and stick him on. And you can see right away it starts up here. You're able to control it. And that's because it was short of having my NCE cable that I need to replace. So I'll wait for this to come back up again. Okay, so there he is again. I'm going to try the direction. So there's forward. Oop, I should say forward and reverse. I'll give it a little forward power and see if the engine is making contact. And it is. And try reverse. And you know, the sound, of course, it's not helping that I've got this really cheap Android phone here. The sound's not the greatest. You can hear it idling. It's not the greatest. But again, it's a sound decoder for anywhere from 35 to $50, depending on the locomotive you get. So they're really affordable. You know, someday I'll probably upgrade to a better quality one, but for now, for building my fleet, I like it. Here's the horn blast. And it is programmable. You can there's all sorts of different horns you can use. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of other sounds it does, but again, the speaker's probably not the greatest. Honestly, a do-it-yourselfer probably could replace the speaker with a little better quality one, and maybe even pick up some quality. That's something I haven't thought about trying yet. I'm not that, you know, I'm not that great at working on soldering on this small a scale. Again, this is N scale, folks, so really small stuff. So anyway, that is installation of the XL Systems DCC decoder in a KATO SD40-2. There goes my short and my NCE controller again. But I did do the paint work. These, if anyone's following me, you knew these were Santa Fe locomotives I started with, and I have updated them to the generic Bennington Elkhorn Valley Railroad green. So somewhere here I've got a body for this one. Here's this one. I guess I'm going to go ahead and put it on here without the Captain tape on the motor contacts, because it should apply enough pressure when it goes in. When I was testing the last one, I had to apply Captain tape to get the motor to run, but looks like this one I don't need to, so if I don't have to, I'm not going to do it. So there we go. Now 1505 has got 1505 is good to go. Let's see. Oh, there's my short again. I really need to fix that. Wait a second and it'll restart. There it goes. Again, that's the short of my NCE power cab control. The cable, I need to get a new cable. So here we go. So yeah, XL Systems decoders. They're not too bad, and they're inexpensive. And now I've got two more SD40s to do some local duty on the layout. So thanks for watching.